Everybody. Welcome back to Spooky Things with Debbie. This is Debbie, and I'm glad everybody could join us tonight. Um, Tonight's a little bit different. I'm kind of going back to the old way that we used to do it. By the way, guys, we're going on season 3 of Spooky Things. This is actually our third season coming up, so that's really exciting. Um, But so we're kind of going to tonight go back to the ways that we used to do it, and this is like an informative kind of a show. We've had a lot of talk here lately about metamorphosizing, transformations, shape shifting, um, going into like skinwalkers, and Wendigos kind of get put out there. They're actually different, really. I mean, they have the ability to shift shape, but they're not really so much known for that. Um, so although they are known to be able to do that, is the only reason that I've really included them in here. But in actuality, they are like a different entity, like altogether. They're of their own right, and but we will talk about them a little bit. Um, I think a lot of what's happened has been coming to light on a show that's about the Skinwalker Ranch. And a lot of people have been watching it and, have been asking questions about the skinwalkers. Um, Now, skinwalkers or shapeshifters, let's just say let's leave out the skinwalkers for now, because again, they're kind of like of a different entity. But shape shifting, metamorphosis, transference, mimicking, changeling, these all classify under the same category. Um, I'm sorry, shape shifting and changeling actually are like mean something different. A changeling actually is a human that can transform themselves into an animal or of a different shape. That's considered a changeling. A shapeshifter is usually an animal that can take the form of a human or of another form of another animal. So, really, to use the terminology really more correctly, a changeling is a person and a shapeshifter is an animal or an entity that can do this particular change. Um, there are different ways that this can occur. This is physical metamorphosis, which would be the days of old, the werewolf. Who can forget the werewolf? Stripping off their skin and with the moon, the whole thing. You know that's a physical metamorphosis. Um, but there's also something called a spiritual metamorphosis, and this is where something can take the form of a being from the inside, mimicking, appearing to look like them. And the way that they do it also is specific. Some people are able to shift shape or shapeshift in dream time only. And then some people are able to shapeshift physically. Um, this is something I personally, this is me personally, have never witnessed a shapeshift in front of it. I've never personally witnessed it. Um, However, I do know of some people that do have the ability to do that. Um, But a lot of times when something like that is occurring, it's strictly a very private thing. So, I mean, it's not out there for the world to see. It's not what it's meant for anyway. Um, so it's a very private, confidential thing, or only shared with very few people. Um, it is it is legends that go back hundreds of years, from beginning of time on. People talk about shape shifting, um, from cave drawings to canyon, you know, descriptions of shapeshifters, shape shifting skinwalkers. They are made of folklore, um, mystical beginnings. There are curses that people talk about, how they're come about. Um, it's a whole gamut of things. There are some that are so intriguing, yet so very not talked about, i.e., skinwalkers, that they're very, very confidential information for those people only. Um, the Navajo, who are the originators of the skinwalkers, they are a very close knit community. There's quite a few of them, large territories that they inhabit. I think it's what, 3 states that is of the Navajo Nation. Um, but they're all raised with the lores of skinwalkers. Um, they don't like to talk about it, and I would like to ask, whoever is watching, if it's considered rude to even ask about them. They'll actually be offended by it. They don't like to talk about it because in their belief system, that even if you talk about it, or if you talk about an encounter of which that they have had with a skinwalker, they fear retaliation. This is what they're led to believe. This is what they've been raised to believe, and it is definitely a part of their very, very complex belief system on this. I have no reason to doubt anything of it. This has been in their history for years and years and years and years, as long as the Navajo Nation has been with us. So have these tales of skinwalkers. Um, they are not prone to let anybody really into their information on this. They believe it is a Navajo thing, and it stays with the Navajo. I can respect that. Um, but a huge meaning also behind it is, the fact that they do feel that if they recount any encounters with them, that it makes them angry, that the skinwalker's angry, and that they do come back and retaliate. Now, that being said, a skinwalker is, it's neither male nor female. It doesn't really have communicative communicative methods to it. From everything that I've really researched into that, as much as I possibly could, um, they're just pretty much. It's like they are what in, our system of being good versus evil. In the Native American, and of me being from that community myself, it's very much of a yin and a yang kind of a thing. The Native American teachings goes on peaceful existence, um, the giving of the earth, the giving back to the earth, as a very balanced kind of a thing, and being in a harmonious environment and in harmony with your nature and harmony with the earth. These are the teachings, the native teachings, that everything is equal. Everything must remain harmonious. Peace, unwarlike, very giving, not selfish at all. No bragging is permitted. They shun braggers, they shun liars, they shun people who are do not have their neighbor's best interest at heart. Everybody in the Native community, essentially, for deep harmony, lives amongst each other in peace and cooperation. And this is what their community is about. This is what their lifestyle is. And when something contradicts that lifestyle, then it becomes something that is completely against what they are about. And they find it to be distasteful, of course, and in some cases, frightening, especially if it is the cause of um, terrible things that happens to the people. Native Americans are very, very, very family oriented and very neighborly oriented. It's how they've survived for years. So I mean, there's no mystery about the um, the harmonious raisings of the Native American people with their belief system. So that being said, when they get into skinwalkers, a skinwalker is like an entity that throws that harmony off. Okay. And it is said that in order to possess the powers that one needs in a skinwalker, that one has to actually kill a member of their family. That is such an evil, and it is so heinous to the Native American community that doing such a grievous act like that would give someone that sinister ability that could turn them into being able to be a skinwalker. Um, Skinwalkers are known to just attack and eat people. They're cannibalistic, and they just wreak havoc in hell wherever that they are. Um, the Navajos are very frightened by them. Well, they should be. Um, Basically, how the Skinwalker Ranch came about with all of its lore and history. It was said that way back in like the beginning of the 19th century, the the Navajo and the Utis, they had a big squabble, and they were fighting over the land that the ranch now sits on. And the Utes won, and they ended up driving the Navajo Nation off of the land. Well, they didn't take that very well. And so what they did is that the Navajo cursed the land from that day forward. And from that day forward, um, That's when the skinwalkers became involved. Bearing it in mind, there was a lot of family members that were killed. Um, there was grave injustices that were done. They got kicked off their own land the way that, that they viewed it. This is our land. We got kicked off of it. I mean, everything that could bad have happened on that land to the Navajo people. And they cursed it. They were like, this is, you want it, you got it, but you're going to take it like this. So from that time on, so it's considered cursed land. And this is the result of it. So that's how the Skinwalker Ranch became what it is today. Um, the Skinwalkers are immortal as far as their lifespans go. They are said to be sensitive to silver. Now, I don't want to bring like the thing of the werewolves or anything coming in with that. I mean, but bearing it in mind that by the lore itself, werewolves as well are shapeshifters. So, but the legend has gone on for eons of time that silver will affect the werewolves. And in the Navajo Nation, it will affect skinwalkers as well. So, um, but they're really beyond cheeky things. I mean, they're just really nasty. Now, um, the native word is now you guys know me. If there's a way to slaughter a word, I will figure it out. And I'm telling you, I will say it. And if it comes out wrong, I know. And I'm native myself, and I slaughter the word, so I can only imagine. So, Nahalna. Nahalna is shapeshifter. So we do have a big belief with the Cherokee as well. And there is there's a lot of words with the Cherokee, which goes into spirits, ghosts, shapeshifters. Um, there's a lot of language about that. Now, as far as I'm Muskogee Creek, and there's not a whole lot in there. Um, the only thing that I could really find in a shapeshifter on the creek, Muskogee Creeks, was Stigmy. And with that creature, it is said that it's disgusting, actually. When it goes to change shape, it starts as a person, usually a man, and what happens is that when it goes to make its physical transformation, now this is in Creek history or Creek stories, that when it goes to change, it actually regurgitates all of its innards, its heart, its lungs, its everything. It just all comes out. And it strips himself of the skin, brings all of its entrails up. And in order to keep from animals eating it, they actually put their internal organs hanging off of a tree branch. I'm not kidding. I'm not making this up now, guys. I'm not even that clever to make something like this up. So anyway, legend has it that they put it up into the trees to keep animals from getting to it. And then they go about doing what they do. And they have an insatiable hunger. They eat anything, people included, of which is on their favorite on their menu. And they go out and they kill, eat, and it's just an insatiable hunger. to eat, and to create havoc with just whoever they can grab, they'll grab. And then when it's all over with, they come back out of the form of the animal. And usually the animal that they take the form as is of an owl man. It's like an owl with the facial of a man, with the facial characteristics of a man. And but when they're coming out of it, they shed that body and they grab the innards off of the tree and they come back into the form of a man. There you have it. That is the only one that I could really find. And that's a whopper. I'll take it. But that's the only one that I could really find in the creek would be the stinkney. All right. Now, there are so many others, though. There is a there's so many ways that this word, I mean, it's amazing. Skinwalker takes so many, its descriptions are just so many. A Cherokee name for a ghost would be a Chikina, or I'm sorry, a Kachina. That's the Cherokee name, ghost, Kachina. And I'm sure a lot of people have heard about Kachinas. They can be good, they can be evil, they can be whatever, but they're all Kachinas. Okay. When a human goes to an animal, when it shifts to an animal, it's called therianthropy. Therian, yes, theri, therianthropy. Therianthropy. There you go. Remember when they were talking about the werewolves? It's called lycanthropy. Well, this is called therianthropy. When it's going from a human to an animal, not werewolves, but human to an animal. Okay, excluding werewolves, that's lycanthropy. Um, there are, I mean, I'm looking at so many of what could be made up of these shapeshifters that it is just absolutely amazing. Now, there's a Cherokee shapeshifter that's called a raven mock. Okay, that is, and it is kind of like almost describing a Bigfoot kind of a creature. It says it's about 7 foot tall. It's black. It's got like black fur and white eyes. It's basically around Southwest Virginia, and it can be it can make a shape of any animal actually, or it can appear as an old man or as an old woman. It can appear as either that as well. Um, the interesting thing, though, is that they're saying that in the Cherokee legend, that if it is ever identified correctly, um, if somebody goes up to a person and says, "I know who you are. You are a shapeshifter, and I know who you are. I know what you do, and it is this person that's doing it. This is the person who does it." It's claimed that if they are correctly identified, then in a matter of weeks, they're dead. They can't survive being identified. I found that was very interesting. Um, and of course, from human to wolf, it's lycanthropy. Um, in the Navajo, there is a name called. Here we go again. Okay, Ye Nal Duck ship. Oh no, no, I didn't mean to say a bad word. Naal lo lu shi. Forget the T on the end. Now Lushi. Okay. Basically what that means is evil people. And it's like the opposite of what they call hozol. Hozhol. Um and to them, well, as we all know, laughter is a human trait. No animals really laugh for humor except for human beings. It's pretty much of exclusively of a human trait. Um, it says that if you are a bunch of people and you're sitting around and you think that there is one of these evil spirits that are coming up, that if they're telling a joke and they all start to laugh, then that forces that particular entity to leave, um, because they cannot handle the sound of laughter. They don't get the concept of it, and that it can actually kill them, but it makes them go away. And it said it could force them to revert back into its human form, and if it's found and identified, of course it would lose its life. So that, well, I thought that that was really pretty interesting as well. um a lot of times the shapeshifter will go from a coyote or an owl, a fox, wolf, crow. Um, there's other people that bring the Wendigos into it. Um, Wendigos really, they they really don't go into the same category, guys. I mean, they really don't. A Wendigo is really of a separate entity, all of its own. Um, I remember we talked about Wendigos back way back when we were doing shows before, and a Wendigo sometimes is, as the lore goes, is doesn't even take on a body. It's more of a like a spiritual kind of a thing. Very nasty, very 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 nasty. Cannibalistic as well. It causes mayhem, insatiable appetite. Some of them say that it does come into the form of a human form with an animal head on top. Usually it's a skull of a deer or a skull of a bull, something like that. Um, a lot of people try to put it into the same category. It's not. It's is like I said, it's of a separate altogether. Um, the Wendigo actually originated from the Algonquin tribe, and it really didn't have anything to do with the Navajos. So the Wendigo was made very popular by the beliefs from the Algonquin tribe. Um, there's the word Juanita, Juanetta, Juanetta. Well, that would be a female shapeshifter, or as it's also called, a charger. Um, they're saying that in a video that if you have a human who's is in human form, that when being videotaped, that their eyes will glow like a silvery gold. You'll notice that they're got a different look to their eyes. It really has this strange glow to it. And if they have those, and it's a uh, you know this shapeshifter in disguise. There are so many spirits and names for shape shifting and stuff like this. Um, but basically, when it's coming down to Native American lore, it's an it's an evil spirit that opposes the right, the good, the righteous, the good. It's very, very similar to what um, basic Americans have in their religious cultures of right versus evil, right and wrong, right and wrong. So it's an evil spirit who tries to interfere and to disrupt the harmonious right nature of land and of people. So that's the way that that whole thing comes in it. Um, there's a spirit called the Kaluna Iliski, and that's what preys on souls of dying and eats their hearts. Well, that's fun. That's what that one is there. And here's one that a lot of people have heard of before, and it's called the Manitou. Um, that's another name for them, as well as Sesopis would be a ghost. These are all Native American names. Um, and remember that they're considered mimics, so they can take on a complete form of somebody. They can mimic their voice to perfection. That I've experienced. Um, actually, I have experienced that. Uh, I did see one time where it looked completely like my son, one of my sons, and it had his voice to perfection, absolute perfection. It wasn't him, but it had it to absolute perfection. Um, the Cherokees' word for a demon would be Askigna, and that just would be, an evil spirit. So, um, Utlan, no, Utlanta, seriously, Utlanta, is also named as, I'm going to slaughter it, Nun Yunu, Nui, Nun Yuni, something like that. Anyway, it, this spirit is considered a witch. This right here, the Udlanda, and it's Cherokee. And basically, what it is it's a witch. And now, when they say witch, they're also talking about a not a nice person, someone who reaps evil, who lies, or who is selfish, very selfish. They won't share anything with anybody. Somebody who just does wrong. An outsider, more or less, and they don't fit in. They just look real pessimistic of everything. They consider these people, witches. And this particular entity is said it's dressed as an old woman, and that it has a very, very, very sharp forefinger, like a knife for a forefinger. And this is what she uses to razor cut people with. So, Juanetta. Juanetta. Anyway, so this is pretty much from what I have gathered. it is very, very difficult getting information from native lore and beliefs because they don't give it freely. So whatever information that you've been given, it's, pretty special because it's been given out by, somebody who is really kind of going against the belief system and saying things that they don't believe should be said to anybody outside of their communities. So, we're very grateful to get whatever we can get for people to share that with us. But I mean, this even goes into mermaids are considered shapeshifters because a lot of times they start as women or men, and then they transform into a half person, half fish. Um, I mean, shapeshifting can come into all kinds of of lore and fables and just it's amazing what it can come into. Um, do I believe it? I believe that there's a basis behind it. I don't believe that people really came up with these things just off of the top. Something had to have started it. Can there be any? Yeah, to me there can be. I don't know. I have no idea. But I do know that for years and years and years and years, these stories have come, and I just don't think that these things are made up. I think that there's definite basis behind some of these. And I've never been to Utah. I've never been to Nevada. Well, I've been to Nevada, but I've never been to the reservations out there or to Navajo land. For me to sit there and say, no, that doesn't exist. How do I know that? I've never even been out to the Navajo land. So I wouldn't know. And I'm not going to sit there and say, that doesn't exist. How would I know? I don't. But do I take what they say? Yeah, I do. Why would they lie? Especially since their whole belief system goes around the harmonious existence of what they do and what they're around. And they don't like people who lie to begin with. So I do not think that this is made up stories just to scare kids. I don't. I think there's a real basis behind it. Just like I think there's a real basis behind a lot of what goes on out there. Everything from cryptids to the local ghost story down the street. It starts somewhere. Something had to have happened to gotten this thing started. So, um, hang on just one second. Hang on just one second. Sorry, gets loud around here sometimes. Anyway, um, so yeah, that is honestly what I do believe. There are things out there I can't explain. You can't explain. They've been trying to figure it out for eons of time. No one can explain it. I don't think I'm going to come up with the answer for it. But I do think that this stuff has been started somewhere. Something happened somewhere to get these stories started. It might be exactly what they're saying it is. Who am I to say? I know that from the description of some of these, I surely wouldn't want to be coming across one of them. So I don't know, people. It comes down to, I guess we can say, what do you believe? I would like to hear your opinions and ideas about it. Um, I find it hard to believe that a man can change into a wolf, but what do I know? I know I can't do it, but now during dream time, it's something different. I have my own experiences with it, but like I said, I think there's a basis behind it. I really do. Um, I don't think that mermaids, and I've said this for a long time. I'm because I worked with animals all my life. I have a degree in veterinarian technology, that I got years ago out of high school. And I've worked with exotics. I've worked with the zoos. I've worked with exotic vets. I've worked with all of this. So I tend to look at it more on the physicality of it and, physiologically speaking end of it. And I look at it, what is possible and what is not possible scientifically. Um, and a lot of what I hear, it's like, scientifically, it's not possible. No, it's not. But a lot of this stuff isn't science based. So when you're looking at it into a different aspect like that, it's like, well, yeah, I guess in that aspect, anything could be possible. What are the effects of magic? I don't know. I cannot create magic. What do I know? Um, there's a lot of things that my gifts do not entail, and magic is one of them. I'm not someone who can do that, but I do know people that claim that they have the ability to, and I frankly don't doubt them. Um, anything in the world is possible. To me, there are some things that I doubt, but I never say, that could never happen. Nah, never in a million years. Because guess what? A lot of times you can be wrong. And then you're kind of sitting there, holding your ego in your hand going, phew, I was sure that couldn't happen. Well, you were wrong. It could. It did. Um, going into extinct animals. They're finding animals that have been extinct. They just found birds. They found a whole flock of like 50 birds that have been, quote, extinct for 300 years. They just found 50 of them. Not one, not two, not a cozy little family of four, 50 of them. I give my hats off. Kudos to those birds, man. They kept hidden for a long time. And then all of a sudden, there they are. That that to me is like so cool. So, it's like everybody saying, no, it couldn't be. They went extinct how many years ago? I would be the one going, it's possible. It's really possible. And we're beginning to see more and more and more of these events occurring all the time. And I find it absolutely, I'm just amazed at every time that it happens. And it just makes me realize how really, really incredible this earth is. There are so many wonderful things out there that are just so beyond us that we haven't even begun to touch. And don't ever say, never happened, because this earth might just surprise you. And all of a sudden you'll be like, darn, got me again. Yeah, because it can happen and it does. So, just some things for you to think about. I heard you. I hope that I've helped you out a little bit tonight. I know my pronunciation of some of these words, they're not very good, but it gives you a basic idea. Um, skinwalkers, do they exist? It's up to you. You make your own decision on it. My decision on it, well, maybe it's because I've got that native in me. Yeah, there's been so many incredible encounters that have been talked about. There's something out there, and I I honestly do believe. Do they exist? Yes, I do believe that they do. Um, some of the accounts might be exaggerated. Great. Some of them might be a bit wrong in some historical part here or there. But for the general basic question of do they exist, I think they do. And they're a real force to be reckoned with, and I wouldn't want anything to do with it. But your decision is your business. So you decide of this on your own. I encourage you do some reading on it, do some research on it. I researched quite a while to get what I did, and it wasn't easy. It's not an easy subject to break into. So I'm actually kind of surprised I even got as much as what I did. Um, but it just kind of gives you a basic idea of what's out there. We'll be doing more of these. If you want me to research into something and to clear some things up for you or to help you understand something a little bit more, please let me know. I enjoy doing this and I enjoy presenting it to you and hearing your feedback from it. I do enjoy that. So, everybody, I hope that you have a great week and we'll be talking to you again next Tuesday. Um, just a little heads up out there. The Web Paranormal Group is helping a um, a place called Cahaba, which is over near Selma, Alabama. And I'm sure you guys have heard about this. Is actually a current archaeological dig that's going on, an archaeological research going into this. They're discovering things more all the time. And they have been really doing an amazing job out there at Cahaba. And the history that's involved in this place is absolutely amazing, and we are thrilled to be invited to help them with their tours that they are doing out there, and that's going to be um not this weekend, but it is going to be the weekend after and then the weekend after that. So we are looking at the 17th, 18th, and the 24th and the 25th. Cahaba. And yeah, the 17th, no, I'm lying. The 18th and the 19th, sorry, the 18th and the 19th is a Friday and Saturday. Well, actually, the tours are on Saturday, the 19th. So the 19th and the 26th. Those are the two tour dates to go through Cahaba. And guys, I'm telling you, this is like really special because Cahaba is normally closed at night. Thank you. This is the 19th and the 26th. I appreciate that. Um, the special thing about this also is because the management of Cahaba is opening up for the people who have tickets to go on this tour. Cahaba's never open at night. Nobody can get into Cahaba at night. And if you ever wanted to see something, I mean, this is a real, true Florida or Alabama ghost town. This place is amazing, and the activity is like off the scale in this place, off the scale. I know I've been out there and it's beautiful, it's spooky, it's eerie, it's fascinating, it's fun. It is this, and the tours that get done there are amazing. So you guys might want to check into it. It's the 19th and the 26th. Then the tours are done by the Web Paranormal Group. And the management has been so kind as to get us, to be able to help them with this. And we are thrilled to be able to do it. I mean, this is so exciting. And, but get in touch with them because tickets don't last long and they are limited. They've only got like a certain amount of tickets, and once they sell those, they're not selling anymore. You'll have to wait till next year to get on board with them. So, and this is really something that you really want to be a part of. I mean, Cahaba at night, nobody gets into Cahaba at night. The tickets are only $25 a piece, and I mean, it's an extended tour. It's not just going to a building and look. No, no, you go over the whole ghost town. you go everywhere. There's a downtown area. There's a corner where there was a shootout and 3 people got killed in it. Um, oh my gosh, there's all kinds of things there. They got this cool church there. Amazing. And it's the tour is 90 minutes long. And you're going in this trailer that gets pulled by a truck. It's open trailer. It's so much fun. Oh my gosh. And when they took us around, where everything was, I was amazed. They have 2 cemeteries there. There's like the slave cemetery, and then there's the other cemetery. Both of them equally fascinating. Equally fascinating. Um, I was just absolutely amazed. And what a piece of history coming to life to you. So, but I encourage you, look into that Cahaba on the 19th and 26th for the Cahaba tour. And we'll be there. We'll hope to see you guys there too. And in the meantime, you guys take care. And we will see you again on Tuesday. If there's anything that you want me to go into or to research for you, give me a shout out. And you can do it on my site. You can do it right here. But give me a shout out, and I'll check into it for you. I'll get as much as I can for you. Hopefully, I can explain some stuff for you. But thank you again for joining me. Again, this is Debbie, and you're with Spooky Things, and we'll talk to you next Tuesday, 7 Central Time. Thank you, guys. Bye bye.